Jamie, thank you. It is 9/17 and Sunday will mark 6 years since the Pulse nightclub shooting. It was one of the most horrific events in Orlando's history. 49 people were shot and killed inside the nightclub on June 12, 2016. But the legacy of the fallen lives on that onePULSE Foundation will live on. Joining us this morning is Barbara Poma. She is the founder of the onePULSE Foundation and the National Pulse Memorial and Museum. Barbara, it is always good to see you. Unfortunately, it's always under these circumstances, but I do want to say good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, the thing I was thinking about is I'm like, my goodness, it's been 6 years, which in and of itself is hard to believe, right? Since the tragedy of the Pulse nightclub shooting. I know that we do honor the victims every year, but I was listening to an interview that you did a few days ago where you said this year feels a little different to you. Why?
We're not really sure. None of us, as we talk about it, can put our finger on it. You know, I think, last year was the 5-year, and there was something about that being a landmark year that had a different emotion. I think looking back, every single year had a separate feeling. Of course, we're all sad and we're grieving and we're remembering, but year one was so raw. And then by year 3, it was just, I don't know, another very strange feeling. And this year, I don't know if it's because it's actually falling on the day of the week that it did last year. It was Saturday night. We woke up to the new Sunday morning, and so that might be it. But we really can't put our fingers on it. We just know that there's just something different, and maybe it's coming because on the heels of what happened in Buffalo and then Uvalde and Tulsa. Don't know.
And I think that's kind of the thing that I wanted to kind of touch on, because I know that over the years people have been trying to make a change, right, and kind of start a movement. And you have to wonder, has a difference been made when you have these mass shootings that seem to be happening every week, unfortunately? And you talked about Uvalde, Texas. We've got Buffalo, New York. We just had another one that happened this morning that we're covering here on Fox 35. So with all of the work that everybody in this country seems to be doing, including yourself, has a difference been made?
Sadly, it doesn't seem so. Seems like every morning or two we wake up and we're watching communities holding each other. We're watching crosses arrive and flowers and candles be lit. We're watching families, reeling in grief and survivors living in fear, having lives changed forever. It's defeating. If it feels, it's just hurtful and it's sad.
Yeah, it is just beyond sad, and I just can't imagine what the families continue to go through and their loved ones. It's just a horrible feeling. And I know they always say, right, that out of tragedy there's got to be something good that comes out of it. And I know that you've got the onePULSE Foundation. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what some of the vision for the foundation's future contain?
Sure. So, we have 4 pillars here at the foundation. We're leading the charge of the work of the National Pulse Memorial and Museum and Orlando Health Survivors Walk. But we also have our onePULSE Academy leading education programs that we're launching, have been launching for 2 years virtually and in person, online, and free to the public. Matter of fact, today we launched our first International Culture of Remembrance Symposium, which is 2 days of education about why we memorialize and how the world memorializes, not just us here in Orlando. But we also have our 49 legacy scholarships that we have funded for 3 years in a row. So I think, our work kind of has different branches, but it really talks about how to educate, how to create change, and how to address these feelings of what it feels like to belong and what it feels like to be othered, and how to create a real change in people so that when they leave the memorial visit or they leave an education program, that they're going back to their communities and into their workplaces and families with some tools of how they've changed and how they can help change others.
Oh, Barbara, very important work you are doing and continue to do. We thank you so much for joining us here this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.